Okay, here we go.
Hi everyone, my name is Luca PIZZARI, and much to my mother dismay, I draw comics for a living. And speaking of which, I have a new book out with Boom. It's called Vampyrates. It's amazing, and hopefully we're gonna talk about that. And let's have fun on Splash Pages.
The only thing left to say, of course, is the one obvious thing.
What's wrong with him? His girl just broke it off.
It's her father. He doesn't want her dating a zombie.
Why? What are they, demons?
She is predeceased.
An outsider?
Man, you're asking for trouble.
She broke my heart.
You're a zombie. Technically, you don't even have a heart.
After all of the great cinema that we brought to the world, and we still get no respect.
I don't know why he doesn't like me. I'm responsible, a full-time job.
You work at a haunted house in October.
I'm trying to be healthy. She's a vegan, so...
Wait, you're giving up meat?
Oh, come on.
What are you gonna do? Attack a farmer's market to try to impress her?
Now, if he was a vampire, you'd have a much better chance with her death.
Yeah, those pretty bastards.
I didn't think this would be that hard.
Hard. Man, I'm a zombie and I'm black.
Oh, here we go.
I blame the educational system.
I blame the media.
I blame George Romero.
Oh. How could you be so disrespectful?
Coffee?
Zombies don't know much, but they do know good coffee. Deadly Grounds. It's coffee to die for, and zombie approved.
Who's George Romero?
Just have some coffee.
Hey, happy Wednesday, everybody. You are watching Splash Pages bonus episode this week. We got a fun one for you today, but we're going to kick it on off. Carrie, how's it going?
Going good, Leo. I'm excited to have us on for a Wednesday night. We haven't had one for a while. And the artist that we have on is fabulous. I have some questions that I really need answered from him. So let's hurry up through me and get on with the show. Oh, and hi, Dylan.
Hello, everybody. It's Jar Jar from the most hottest space in the world. I can't wait to get this show going so I can turn on my AC again. So let's do this.
I feel Jar's pain, so we're gonna play a game. How long can we keep it before? Can we get the show done before he passes out? Stay with us till the end and find out, true believers. But it's true, we do have a fantastic guest. The winner of the best Fred Van Lente impression of 2024. He's an artist who's been crushing it with Marvel, I believe it's either Image or IDW, and Boom Studios. He's worked on a ton of projects, Blackhawks, Weapon X, Dark Agnes, did a little Conan in there, did some G.I. Joe, did some Transformers, and right now, what?
Star Wars.
Oh, right, sorry. The big Star Wars. And right now he's got an upcoming project with the great Fred Van Lente, who unfortunately couldn't be here. So we're definitely going to have to hold it down and make it a show for him to regret missing. So everybody put your hands together for the former New Yorker, but still always in his heart, video gamer and all-around extremely humble creator. Everybody, Luca PIZZARI.
Yay! Hey guys, thanks for having me.
Hey,
What's up,
thanks
man?
for doing it.
So definitely have to start with, again, because we were talking about this before the show, how it's always so funny watching other people do interviews, because you've done a ton of interviews. This is not your first, and some range from, well, you've done some, not like.
No, honestly, since we announced the book here, like the Creon, we have done more interviews in this last month than in my whole career. Because, I mean, when you work for hire for superhero books, you don't get to do interviews unless you're part of something really, really big. So
Right.
for me, this is like this is my first creator-owned book ever, and this is
Wow.
all new. That's like, oh, people want to talk to me now. Okay. But
Yeah,
it's
well,
no, it's been great.
Yeah, no, absolutely. It's just funny because like we've seen other interviews where, like people do the homework, they have questions and whatnot, and then we have people who are like, "What do you do? What you draw things? Why? What are the things that motivate you to spend 10-hour days drawing with occasional sunlight and food and a
10-hour
bathroom?"
days, it's a lazy day.
Oh boy. All
10
right.
hours
Wow.
is like a good working
I
day.
had some questions to get started off
It's
with
like,
about your childhood.
yep.
Okay.
Sorry, I totally cut you off. But I know that when you were growing up, your mother worked. I don't know if she still works for the Italian Ministry of Foreign Affairs, but
Yeah.
which led you to kind of moving around a bit, and so you got to spend 5 years in Paris, 5 years in London, and you read all the European comics and such,
Yeah.
and you decided when you were 10 years old that like I'm going to be a comic book artist. This is what I'm going to do. So is that does it still hold the same place in your heart, like coming over to America? And can you imagine actually doing anything else?
Yeah, that's the thing. I always knew I wanted to draw. Like my mom always tells me that I started drawing before I could start before I learned how to read and write. But the
Mhm.
thing is, I started reading comics very early. I did the whole like journey. Like I started with Disney stuff that in Italy is like very, very big, and then I graduated to like the Italian comics, and then my first love with the American stuff. So it's like at some level, I always loved drawing, and I always knew that drawing would be something that it would have been always present in my life. But
Mhm.
honestly, the conscious decision to do this for a living, it's fairly recent. Because the thing is, I've been told that now things are very different, but like Italy, it's got a huge comic book tradition. Like the Italian school is amazing. We've got a lot of talent, but at the same time, at least when I was still there, Italian society is very, in a way, it's very close-minded. So it's like when I was growing up, when I was like in the moment of your life in which you're trying to figure out what you want to do growing up, like having a career in comics was not an option. Like I never considered it like I'm gonna do this for a living, because it's like I didn't know people did that for a living. And then
Right.
what happened is that, like you mentioned, I was following my mom around traveling. And then in London, I started going to my first comic book conventions because, again, I've been told now the Italian comic book scene, con scene is fantastic. When I was younger, there was like pretty much nothing. So I started going to comic book conventions regularly in London, and it just blew my mind because like I went there and there were like, artists sitting at their table with all the original pages on their table. And it's like, it's funny because it's the most obvious thing in the world. But then I was like, man, so these people, their job is to do the stuff I read and love. Oh my God, it never occurred to me. And that was like, I almost dropped university. It was a whole huge fucking thing with my mom because I basically came back home saying, Mom, I'm dropping my studies. I'm gonna make comics. And she was like, no, you're not. So it's like, there was a lot of back and forth. But then in the end, I guess, the thing I always joke about that the way I see it, in order to make it in this industry, like you need a lot of talent, but also you need to be stubborn as hell. Because I'll never forget when I started doing all these hitting all these cons in London. I started meeting better like a lot of English artists that were like doing all the cons, so I would go to all of them, and they started remembering me, and we kind of like, I'm not gonna say we became friends, but like it was basically one of the situations in which I would see the same artist for the fourth time in a row at 4 different cons, so they will remember me. Oh yeah, you're the guy that last time they brought me your work. Let me see what you've been up to. And I'll never forget that one of the things that I heard, I don't remember who was that told me, but it was like, something that never tells you. In order to make it, we just assume that, if you're really good and you're the best around there, you keep at it and you'll make it. A lot of times, the one making it is the only one left standing, because everybody else just gives up. And you make it because you were the only one who just kept trying and banging his head against the wall. And the thing is, that's what I did. Like, at least for me, in order to be able to break into the industry, I had 3 or 4 years of like below the poverty line. Like I'm here with you talking to you guys because I was lucky enough that my wife, she also has a creative job, but she had it was a proper job with a wage, and she basically supported us. Like, she was amazing. She was like, I know you want to do this, and you know what? Let's give ourselves a deadline, like 2 years, 3 years, 4 years. We're gonna do this, and if in the end it didn't go anywhere, maybe we consider it, and maybe we reconsider. And basically, when I was just about to have the hard conversation with yourself in front of the mirror, like, what the hell am I doing? Am I wasting my life? I got a call from Marvel. So it's like, again, we always talk about talent and like, oh, you made it because you're really good, but also a lot of people, they give up before they actually get to make it.
The call from Marvel came in too, wasn't it? It was right after you met Ed McGuinness at New York Comic Con, and you were
Can
showing.
I ask you, how do you know these things? Have I ever talked about them?
It's all there.
She's hiding in the closet.
Yeah.
What I'd seen was that you.
I don't remember saying this in interviews. It's all true, by the way. Yes, I'm just really.
Blown away.
I'm really I'm really surprised because I don't remember telling this stuff to people. Like the fact that you basically open with, oh yeah, your mom works for the Italian Ministry of Fair, you've been around. I was like, I was answering, and while I was answering, I was like, how the hell does she know?
Listen, the internet is a beautiful and dangerous thing, sir.
It is.
So if it's there, we can find it. And if not me, it's her or him or the squirrel. Don't ask when the squirrel knows things. But yeah, so don't trust me. Don't question it. Just yes, sir. Carrie, Ed McGuinness.
Okay, so you'd been showing your portfolio to Ed McGuinness at a New York Comic Con, and then he called over Nick Lowe, his editor, to like check it
Mm-hmm.
out, and then like, within the month
Yeah,
you got a call from him, right?
exactly.
And then
And it
you
was
guys,
literally, it was the last day that I was in New York Comic Con. I was just about to leave. I had like, I'm just gonna do a last
Right.
round of Artist
Another
LA,
lap.
just because I've got 20. I was gonna meet my wife outside of the con for dinner, see if maybe there's somebody that I really want to say hi. And
Mhm.
he had been consistently busy, like he had a huge line at his table for the whole day. And
Right.
then I finally managed to get him in a moment in which he was alone. And I honestly, I'm sure that if you ask him, he's gonna think that I did it on purpose. I went there just because I didn't want anything from him. I just went there and say, dude, really quick. I just wanted to say I grew up with your shit. Me and my brother, we loved your Deadpool comics you did in the 90s. We
Right.
loved that stuff. And I just wanted to say that, thank you because it's one of my nicest memory is going to Italian comic book store, buying the original American issue, going back home and reading it to my brother who couldn't speak English. And it's like, thank you for all the memories. And he was so nice because he was like, oh, thank you so much, I really appreciate it. And can I ask you,
Oh,
I can see there that you're carrying a portfolio, are you an artist too? I was like, yeah, don't worry, but like I'm really not here to, I didn't want to show you anything, I just wanted to say my piece and go away. And he's like, no, don't, are you joking? Just put it here on the table and let me see. And I was like, are you sure? It's like, yeah, sure. So I put my portfolio on the table and he basically opened it. He flipped 2 pages. On the third, it's like, okay, don't move. I'm gonna call Nick Lowe because he needs to look at this. And I was like, what? And I've been told later that Nick Lowe was like on his only like food break of the day. And he
right.
basically had to go back to his table because they called him. But I mean, in the end,
Mhm.
all's well what ends well, because he came, he saw my stuff, and he seemed to really like it. And then he was like, leave me your email and I'll see if we can do something. And the thing is, like I told you, at that point I had been trying to break into the industry for like, I don't know, 4 or 5 years. So you can imagine how many times I've heard oh yeah, give me your email and we'll do something. I was like, yeah, sure, here's my email, whatever, thank you so much. And then holy shit, like a week later he actually wrote. And I'll never forget that email because the subject of the email was a Spider-Man question mark. And he was like 2 lines. He was like, hey Luca, it's Nick, I was just wondering, would you like to do a Spider-Man special for us? I was like,
Yes.
I remember
you
reading the
kidding?
email, and then I called my wife and I was like, can you read that back to me? Because I don't want to, like,
Oh,
maybe I'm seeing things.
right.
Is this what I think it is?
Right.
And started from there.
It's
so that,
that's
That's
great.
awesome.
yeah,
What a Carrie, 1 second. Um,
yes.
what a first things first. I like how guys. I don't know why, but as he's talking this, I kind of imagined like a drunk history. You know, like how drunk history would do
Oh yeah.
replays. I'm just imagining like your version of this, and just other people playing like Ed McGuinness and Nick Lowe and you, and just like you're like, oh honey, can you just like what? So that was fantastic narrating. I literally saw that, and it was great. But and here you are, and I mean, it's that work plus other things. That's how you got to work with Fred, right? That was on Weapon X.
Yeah, because basically, from that Spider-Man, I every time I was doing pages on one project, the editor would show the pages to somebody else in the office. So
Mhm.
basically, this was 2015, by the way.
Right.
The first 3 or 4 years were insane because a lot of times I would still be working on one thing, and halfway through, I will get an email from another editor saying, "Hey man, as soon as you're done with that, you're doing something for me, okay?" I was like, "Okay." So the first couple of 3 or 4 years were insane. Like I literally couldn't believe it.
Oh, absolutely.
And one of these, I started jumping from one thing to the other, and one of these was Weapon X with Fred. That was he was writing it together with Greg Pak, and they're both amazing. They're great people, but I don't know why with Fred we just hit it off.
Oh yeah.
How exciting to break into comics in that way, like showing your portfolio at cons and stuff. It's so old school, and like, it's
and
got
also
to be feeling.
because at that point I had been doing this whole song and dance in Europe for years, and then that was going back to what I told you before. That was the last year that I gave myself as I'm just gonna try for this year, and if nothing happens, maybe it just wasn't supposed to be. And then after so many conventions and stuff in England, me and my wife said, you know what? Let's see when is New York Comic Con. We're gonna buy a plane ticket to New York. I'm going to New York Comic Con as a last resort, like make it or break it. If nothing comes out, at least we've been to New York. I always wanted. And so we done that. It was actually unexpectedly very good. And from then, probably the greatest thing that ever happened in my life happened, because basically I got fairly close to CB Cebulski. Seemed to be really, really supporting my stuff. Like he really liked what I did, and he was really super supportive to me. And basically, after 2 or 3 years that I've been working for Marvel from London, I told CB, like, look, I would really like to come and live in the US, but we had been talking to a immigration lawyer, American immigration lawyer, and she told us basically, since you're working freelance, you cannot be sponsored, but it would really help if you could have a letter from somebody that you work with that said, it would help if Luca actually moved to the US for his career and our working relationship. So I got CB Cebulski, that at the time was vice president of Marvel Comics. He actually wrote a letter to whom it may concern. I would love if Luca could come and live here in the US because it would be great for our working relationship. And of course, later, I had been told that the letter was instrumental in getting our visa. So we got our visa and we moved to New York. So it all started with Ed McGuinness.
Well, if I see Ed ever at a con, I'm going to bring up that we talked to you, and I'm going to tell him you said hi and thank you.
I was very surprised that years later after this, I met him very briefly, and he actually remembered me. He was like, yeah, you're the guy that I remember. I put my idol on you. I was like, yeah, that's great.
Okay, Luca, tell me, you mentioned these emails. Do you frame them? Because I'm sorry, I would have them up on my wall. Just be like, oh yeah, did you see my CB Cebulski sponsoring letter? Or did you see my email from Nick Lowe? That's how I got into the industry. Just up on the wall. Like, no. I don't need accommodations. This is memories. Because I would have done that, but
definitely.
These things, it's funny how it's the little things, because of course the huge thing would have been like, holy shit, I got an email and they asked me to do a Spider-Man comic for Marvel. Holy shit, that's huge. And then I said yes, and I started working, and I remember it didn't fully dawn on me what was happening until the day in London. They buzz on my door, and basically I received by FedEx the Marvel blank pages that you draw on. That is basically the artboards that they say Marvel, and they have the name of the artist, the page, issue. And I remember when I opened the box, I had already been doing like a month of Spider-Man, and I remember opening the box and I was like, holy shit, I'm drawing a comic on a piece of paper that says Marvel Comics, and there's like a little space for me to put my name on just under the Marvel logo. I remember that's when it dawned on me, and it's like a full month after I already had said yes and started working on that.
That's a geek dream right there.
Yeah, no,
Yeah.
Jar, I think the geek dream. So, Luca, what was it like when you did? Like, have you ever had a table and people brought your stuff to sign? Like, what was that like?
Oh yeah,
People had your work to sign. They were like, I love, like you know, people friends like Carrie would come like, oh my god, I loved your Black Knight work. Can you please sign this? And you're like, oh my god, thank you. Or here's my Weapon X. Or
It's
even now
really-
when this is out, I love Vampyrates. Like, I mean, can you imagine if someone cosplays as something from Vampyrates? You would just lose your mind.
Oh man, that would be amazing. Actually, I was very, very happy because my, I think, second or third job for Marvel after the Spider-Man was the Black Knight mini, and in which I really lobbied hard. Can I redraw his costume? I want to redesign his costume, and they let me. And yeah, that's one. And I remember the best thing was like seeing all the covers, the variants, and it's like other artists basically drawing the costume that I designed. And I remember that basically this series ended, and Black Knight as a character, he wasn't around for a while, and then years later they did another mini series drawn by somebody else, and they were still using my costume. And I remember that was really nice, because it's like, you know, you get the feeling that, okay, I've done something that's stuck.
Right.
It's weird, right?
No, but yeah, especially because, you know, comics, you're so used to changes just being reverted the next time, you know, you create a new team. But like you said, you had a version that stuck and people kept building with it or upon it. Like that, I agree with you. Like, it's very rare to have something that remained.
Yeah,
you know?
even for the Creaton book that we're going now, like a couple of weeks ago, my editor sent me all the variant covers that we've got, and it's really weird to see all these huge fucking names that they are drawing the character that I designed. Like it's really weird.
Yeah, man. Well, congratulations. Regardless, like Jar said, that's a nerd dream. But
yeah.
Leo, did you have any questions? I'm sorry, I think I cut you off earlier, buddy.
Hold on one second. I was just trying to bring something up here.
Okay, cool. Take your time.
Yeah. So one thing I want to know, when you were talking about getting the comics and reading them to your brother, what characters were you what were your favorite characters? Yeah, what's that, Jar Jar?
I want to know if he did voices.
Oh yeah.
Well, that's a good one. Did you do voices? But what were the books you were reading? And, you know, like for me, you know, I started off with Batman, and, you know, that stuck with me like forever. So what are your characters? I'm assuming they are mostly Marvel.
So the thing is, I'm a Marvel guy, but I feel like it's not even completely by choice. It's just that when I was of age to discover American comics in Italy, DC, now it's much better, but at that time DC had terrible distribution in Italy. Like Marvel, you could find everything. DC, it was like just Batman and Superman, and like it wasn't really distributed. So basically the odds that you would really fall for DC stuff were very slim compared to you went to the news agent and it was like Marvel everywhere. But basically, I am the most predictable dude ever because I'm a huge heavy metal fan. And so, of course, I fell in love with Ghost Rider. Like, actually, that was my first. I always joke about this. I started reading American comics with a bang because basically what happened is that I think I was like 7 at that time. I was really into comics. I was reading a lot of Disney stuff, a lot of children stuff, a lot of Italian stuff. And then I got a fever, so I was in bed with a fever, and I remember that my dad told me, "Look, I'm going downstairs to buy cigarette. Do you want me to get you anything to read?" And I was like, "Yeah, please get me a comic because I'm getting bored." And my dad knew nothing about comics, like it just wasn't a thing. So basically, what he did, he went down to the newsagent and he just talked to the guy and said, "Look, my kid wants a comic. What's the stuff that most kids like?" And basically, the dude gave him, it was called All American Comics. It was an Italian translation and repackaging of several like random American issues. And he came back home, and basically this I went to eBay, I rebought this book like 7 times in my life because it's like my grail. This specific issue, they had one issue of Ghost Rider drawn by Andy Kubert and ink by his father.
Wow.
Then issue number 1 of Spirits of Vengeance, drawn by Adam Kubert. So basically, it was like the 3 Kuberts on the same issue.
Wow.
Then Rom the Space Knight by Sal Buscema.
Wow.
And Wolverine, and a random issue of Wolverine from the Mark Silvestri era. So that was my first contact with American comics, and I was like, holy shit.
Right.
Like, what is this? And the thing is, if I still rethink about it now, like, holy shit, I started with the perfect issue. Like, this was a random Italian translation that had all of this stuff in it. And I remember I love everything. I fell in love forever with the art of Mark Silvestri, which is still today, I think, is like the dude that made me want to do this for a living. But also I remember I got to the first Ghost Rider issue, I was like, what the fuck is this? Because it was like, I remember the issue started with him with a, he stopped, he was on his motorbike, he stopped the motorbike, and he had an helmet. And then he get mugged, and the muggers, they ask him, "So take your helmets off." And it's like, "No, you wouldn't want me with your helmets off." And they were, "No, take the helmets off." So he takes the helmet off, and it's like this flaming skull. And I was like, what the hell is this? And it was love at first sight. And still now, Ghost Rider is like probably my holy grail of American comics.
Very cool.
Awesome. Hold on, Carrie. I go tell him the story.
Oh no, Ghost Rider was my first comic too. That I got into things, but I was in volume 3, so Danny Ketch was my Ghost Rider when I started. And
Yes,
my first con, the first con that I was at, I got to meet. Shoot, now I got to see Javier Saltares, and like we talked about it, and also Howard Mackey. I got to meet and talk to, and he like signed a big thing for me, and I got to do an interview with him, and it was just like, oh my god, I got to meet these people. And Jar was cool enough; he got me issue 15, the glow in the dark with Tex, the cover from Tex that glowed in the dark, and that was like when I was a kid, I'd always wanted that one, and I never was able to track one down. So I was like,
I actually made a custom t-shirt, not with the cover, but basically when Tex was drawing the book, back then they would ask all the artists to draw, I don't even know if it's got a name, basically the little face of the character that was like on top under the Marvel logo. You remember, like
Right.
And basically he drew that, and I remember it was super cool because it was like all this like really cool stylized skull. So basically recently, like a couple of years ago, I found one of those comics, I scanned it, I got the face, and I made a custom t-shirt with that face.
That's so cool.
You're giving her
those
ideas, Luca.
I
Yes. Yes,
I
you
have
are.
to say, Carrie, that issue scared the shit out of me when I was a kid. Uh, so you know, when I would go to the comic store, I'd buy, you know, random comics, and you know, I saw Ghost Rider, so I started buying it. And I didn't know it was glow in the dark, and I had all my comics like stacked up, and that one was like face up. And I wake up in the middle of the night just seeing this glowing skull, and I'm like, holy shit, what the fuck is that? It's, you know, when you're a little kid, you see that, it scared the crap out of me. So
Okay, Leo, it's not a Furby talking
way
at 3 a.m. demonically. It's just a glow in the dark cover.
dude,
Like,
you know what I grew up with, you know,
I know what you grew up with, but I like how that scares you versus the rest of the horror hell show. So whatever, moving on. So Luca, the question I have is that does this mean if Marvel pitched you a Ghost Rider story, you're like, hey, do you want to do Ghost Rider issue? You're like, yes, I am in. Done.
Oh yeah, I mean, he never happened, but yeah, I would absolutely do it. It's just it just never did happen, but I would do it in a heartbeat. Like it was probably because the thing is when we took the decision to go with this creator on book, I basically because you know making a book is very time consuming and very resource consuming. So basically, especially for artists, you have to make a choice. Like, you know, I'm gonna focus on my book, and I'm gonna have to say no to paid work for a while because I really want this book to come out. And I think I always I always joke with Fred. I was like, yeah, let's do this unless they ask me for Ghost Rider. That is the only like small print I would put on our agreement. That is like, I'm cool doing this. I'm having a lot of fun also because it's a horror book. So it's got a lot of like gothic stuff. But if they ever ask me for Ghost Rider, dude, it's gonna be like a Scooby-Doo cartoon. Like you're gonna see a Luca-shaped cloud, and I'm like torn through the wall.
So like, Scoob, where'd he go?
Yes.
So I've got to pitch you what I've been coming up with for I have different themes that I go through when I'm going for original art and different commissions. So this is a commission. I'm having my friend John do it first because he came up with some good ideas for it. But I've created a character in my head who is Granny Catch Ghost Rider, and she walks around with her walker and has like her knitting and stuff in the basket that turns into the chains and everything. And like her tennis balls are flaming as she goes, and like has flaming curlers and stuff in her hair. As once she turns into Ghost Rider, the little symbols just on the front of the basket. And I need to see somebody be able to do the Akira slide with a wheel, or what are those, with a walker. But so yeah. So
Carrie, the only person who I could see doing it in the adorable way that is Scotty Young. Can you imagine?
The Scotties would be cute, but I'm looking for like cool ones. Like
first thing, Scotty's would be adorable, but also I feel like he could capture that. But trust me, when you see it, oh god, that's going to be terrifying. When you be like, oh boy, put Granny back in the home, and by home I mean in the ground.
Why a walker and not one of the little like old person scooters?
The rooter, like the
because she's got to be able to get around. Like if she loses the walker, she can still walk.
With the flaming wheels.
Listen, just realize that that's two different versions. It's got the walker, and then if she's on the rooter, because the whole like, oh, the second the riders,
it's the
she
tennis
used
ball
her little lifeline thing to change too.
Yeah, it's true. See, Carrie, there's multiple different versions.
So I might at some point pitch you a commission for that. I don't know if your commissions are open, but be like, hey,
no, yeah,
can you draw
absolutely. I mean, absolutely.
We'll figure it out.
Carrie, I'll drop you his email, and you can go from there. So, I think let's definitely talk about Vampyrates. That's out next week. We saw
Dryad.
some. Yep, the Dryad. We saw some of the pages that was in the comics beat. There was a great preview that was in Hello Darkness issue 22, which was just a wonderful introduction to the world, but also to the main character. I don't know about you guys, but I kind of got a little bit like you and Fred gave me like your story had the pirates, but it kind of had like that Anne Rice interview with the vampire mythology kind of to it. There's that history, there's that almost decadence, like with the royal family and procedure and such. What was it like coming up with that, you and Fred?
Yeah, basically, what we knew that we didn't want to do, we didn't want to do like a vampire and pirate historical book. Like we didn't want it to be set in vampire time. We wanted to do something in pirate times. We wanted to do something different. So basically, it all started because after working together for Marvel, we had been, like I said, we hit it off, and we've been always saying, like for years, man, we should do something, create our own together. We should totally do it. But then it's like comics. It's like when I was free, he was busy. When he was busy, I wasn't, and it's we could never find the right moment until we finally decided, yeah, let's do this. And so let's do something together, create our own, let's do our book. And so it's like, okay, so what do we do? And I always joke that we probably had the worst possible approach to this because we decided, okay, you know what? I'm going to send you 5 ideas that I have in my drawer. You're going to send me 5 ideas that you have on your drawer, and we're going to pick one and do that. And of course, it went exactly like you would imagine it would go. Like, it didn't go anywhere because I wanted to do my stuff. He wanted to do his stuff. And I wasn't really super into all the stuff that he showed me. And he wasn't really super into all the stuff that I showed him. So we were like, okay, you know what? Let's just do something else. Let's start from scratch. We're gonna, instead of just rehashing stuff that we've been having in our drawer for a while, let's come up with something different. And I literally just told him, honestly, I don't know what it means. I don't know what to do with it, but I think it's a pity and a crime that, as far as I know, nobody has done anything with the word vampirates, which it still blows my mind because it's such a cool word. The word is just there. It's vampires and pirates. You combine it, vampirates. I actually went online, I Googled it, and it doesn't look like anybody has done anything with it. And I think it's a pity because it's a fucking thing that writes itself. And I could see Fred eyes sparkling. Was like, you know what? Give me a couple of days. And then 2 or 3 days later, he wrote me with a full treatment, a full thing that was basically, I believe it was, we changed almost nothing. Like everything that we're doing in the book was like there from day one. And what we did is that we didn't want to, like what I always say is like, we didn't want to do, put Dracula in a Johnny Depp pirate movie or put Johnny Depp in a Dracula movie. We wanted to do something truly different that was truly like better than the sum of its parts. So we decided, you know what, that's not going to be set on Earth. It's not going to be like in our world in pirate era. It's going to be in a different world. This is like set in an alien world, which is basically a world that is run by vampires. And vampires had a very, very lucky set of coincidences because basically it's a world in which there is currently a 1,000-year-long eclipse. So like for them, it's like the absolute possible best scenario case. And I always joke as like basically we try to outdo 30 Days of Night. Like, okay, you do 30 days, we'll do 1,000 here. But it's basically that, like, it's an alien world in which there is an eclipse that's been going on for millennia. So basically vampires, they rule the world. They are at the head of the government, they are the head of the church, they are the dominant species, and humans are basically the minority, and they are basically treated like cattle. Like they are treated well enough because in the end they are their source of food, but they are they're basically used as a form of feeding. And Fred came up with this super fucked up thing that basically the richest vampires, they have human servants in which they install basically spigots in their neck. So that is basically like you can just turn the spigot and it's like a blood faucet coming out of a neck, and it's really cool.
That is insane.
Seriously.
It's been a lot of fun because like I said, I've been hanging out with Fred for a long time. I did not know he's the trouble individual that I now know him to be, because some of the stuff on the script are like weird. And for me, it was great because I received most of the times I receive his scripts. I'm like, okay, I need to up my game, because I need to match his craziness into visuals. And I like to think that we're doing a really cool thing. Like the character designs are like some of my favorite characters I've ever created, and the characters in the description were all Fred, and then he told me, you have fun with it, make them look however you want, and they were all like really insane, crazy characters. So I was like a bit intimidated because I was like, they need to look the part, and I'm really happy with the design part of the book. I spent a ridiculous amount of time designing the fashion, the architecture, the I don't know, the look of the streets and stuff like that. We knew, because we had a lot of like, it's very hard to do a vampire book without being more or less consciously influenced by the enormous wealth of literature and movies and comics that there already is about vampires. So the thing is, we wanted to be very cautious about our influences and what do we put in this book, because we didn't want it to be another vampire book, but something that absolutely I knew from day one that I wanted, and I was very happy to discover that also Fred was a fan, is I am in love, always been since I was a kid, with Hammer horror movies, like the English horror movies from the 60s with Christopher Lee and stuff like that, like the Draculas, the
Hammer
basically
stuff.
I love those movies, and I knew that right from day one that like visually those are gonna be a huge influence. And basically what we did is I wanted to avoid, because traditionally whenever you think about vampire or gothic stuff, visually you always go to Victorian age, because it's like it's Dracula and stuff like that. And so I wanted to avoid falling into the cliche of like, oh yeah, this is totally set in a different alien world that happens to look like Victorian England. To me, I was very careful not to do that. And so we decided to also include a lot of visual reference from the Age of Piracy, which is like a a bit earlier than that, like 17th century. So basically, the world that our story is set is visually it's a mix of Edwardian, Elizabethan, Victorian era, and we try with the fashion, with the costumes, with the technology to do a mismatch of those, like a mix of all of those.
Mm-hmm.
It was very fun.
Oh yeah.
Leo, I can pull up the Hello Darkness episode. I have it ready to go so we can see a preview of all of what he's talking about right here.
Did you use references for characters or anything?
Specifically for characters, no. But I knew when we start very early on, when we started working on this, there are some things that I'm gonna need visual reference, like ships and nautical stuff, because I don't know ships from the top of my head. So
Right.
like I amassed a huge collection of visual reference for different ships in different era, and if it's got 3 masts or 2, if it's supposed to be like a very quick hit and run kind of a warship, or something like more with a bit more of a weight. I definitely needed the reference, but also since the beauty of doing a book that's set in an alien world is that you collect reference to get an idea, and then you do whatever the fuck you want, because hey, it's aliens.
Perfect.
It's yours, yeah.
Right. Yeah. No, I mean that's the best thing about your own project. You're the one writing the book on it. You're the one creating the history and mythology. So, oh no, that didn't happen at that time. And it's my world. Whatever I say happened. There were dinosaurs during the pirate days. Then, by God, the princess is riding a T-Rex. About to mount a pirate ship. Who cares? That sounds awesome. Like,
absolutely.
Awesome.
Yes, but you know what? It could be the
here we go.
Oh
no,
Velocipaster.
No. Leo, Leo,
the pastor that turns into a dinosaur, but
no.
a pastor, fighting the vampires.
No, Leo.
Abraham Lincoln, Vampire Hunter.
Listen, Velocipaster is not Abe Lincoln Vampire Hunter. Just don't.
I
don't
have
try
to
to
say,
make it.
I do not hate it. I just want to put it out there. I don't hate it.
If you want to do yourself a favor, watch the movie Velocipaster. It is friggin'
it's a movie. It's a
it's a movie. This is
terrible, but it's so terrible. It's amazing.
Yeah, it's a pastor that turns into a velociraptor that fights ninjas. Oh my god, is the most bizarre thing you will ever see. But
ninjas.
Yeah, the perfect background noise while you're working. Just look up. Oh wow, that's funny. Huh. So I have to, Luke. I have to ask this because I always feel like music is always something that's very common with people in the creative process. Do you listen to music while you're working? Do you have like something on in the background, or are you just white noise?
There's the thing is that to draw a comic book, there's like different phases. So I realized that there is one step in which I would love to, but unfortunately music just doesn't gel, which is when I'm doing layouts. So when it's time to actually choose the cameras, the angles, and planning out my pages, I need to be really focused. Zero distraction. But then when it's like penciling and inking, I always have the music in the background, always.
So
these days not so much because we also have a 1-year-old in the house, so like it's tricky. But
was there anything in particular that you were listening to, you imagined you would listen to when you're working on Vampyrates?
It's such a good good question, because I almost don't. I was actually toying with the idea of, like, part of the promotional stuff that we do for the book. I would
Yeah.
love to have a curated soundtrack, and
Oh yeah. What do you do
because,
with
like I
that?
said,
Right.
I'm a huge heavy metal fan, and this book is very metal.
Yep.
So basically, I had a lot of I have a lot of, like, music that I don't know. There's some songs that even now, if I listen to that song, I remember. Oh yeah, I was drawing issue 2, page 14 when I last time I listened to this song. I will
Oh
never
man.
forget. Like, now forever, those songs are gonna be related to making this book forever.
That's cool.
And the thing is like I was saying before, like, doing it's the first time I do a creator on book, and to me, the freedom of just putting whatever the hell we want into it, it's something that I'm experiencing for the first time in my career. And honestly, that goes with music too. Like, I put a lot of, like, reference and hints and cameos about, like, I don't know, specific song that I'm listening while I'm drawing. I'm gonna do a little I don't know, like, visual reference to that specific song in that page while I'm listening to it. Like, I had a lot of fun. Like, I like a lot of, like, doom metal, and I was listening to this band called Down, which is, I don't know if you guys are into heavy metal or stuff. Is the singer
Not
from
that
Pantera,
heavy.
it's Phil Anselmo, and he's got this amazing stoner doom band called Down. And there is it just happened that I was listening to one of their songs while I was drawing the book, and the song is called Three Suns and One Star. And so basically, on a whim, just because I was so pumped, we put it that, like, this world that the book is set on has got, like, three suns, and it's just
Oh wow.
because, that song, man.
Fucking A. That's awesome.
You're
Okay.
going to have people hunting for Easter eggs forever.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. I always
That.
done that, and I have been asked when I was, because I always, like, this is gonna be a little in joke for me and those 2 or 3 people that are gonna catch it. And then I've been asked, like, it already happened by either, like, yeah, can you remove that? You can't do that.
Oh really?
Don't
Like,
tell me.
but now it's like, you know,
Yeah.
I mean,
It's my
I'm
book. I can do.
guessing
If I go.
I'm blaming
Yeah.
myself. Probably, I'm blaming myself. Probably it wasn't as subtle as I thought it would have been. Maybe it was, like, really, really, really there. I remember, like, I did a Western book for Marvel some years ago, and in a panel, I basically drew a realistic Marvel-looking Lucky Luke. The French
Yeah.
cartoon, and it was basically a realistic looking dude, but with the Lucky Luke, like, hair, like,
Mhm.
the big black hair that comes out of his.
Right.
And I was asked to remove it
Aw.
because, I get it,
Well, you have your own
but
book. So you can do whatever you
it's
want.
fun because, yeah, exactly. In this book, like, I put I remember I was working on the book when um, I heard the news about Ozzy Osbourne dying,
Oh yeah.
and so basically one of the character now is basically Ozzy. Like, he looks
Oh
like
wow.
Ozzy, and if somebody, I'm not even gonna pretend, like, yeah, it's him. Like,
That's
clearly.
Right.
Ozzy Osbourne. All right.
Right. Oh my God, that's amazing. Well, thank you. That's absolutely fantastic. Just to know that. And now, everybody, you have to listen to the song, while you're reading
You
Vampirates to
got
really get in the zone.
Yeah, you got to put the
Yeah.
soundtrack at the back of the book for
I was
people to
thinking,
listen to.
once the book is out, I would love to do, like, social media post in which, you recap your thought about it, your
Please do.
recollection of it. Because the thing is, because making comics, especially this kind of like creator-owned books, it happens so quick. There have been basically from the moment our book had been picked up by the publisher, I've been wanting to like, I'm one day I'm gonna sit down and just write a huge ass post about what it means to me to be able to do this and how happy I am and all the, I don't know, the visual reference and all the stuff that I always want, that I always loved since I was a kid. And it just didn't happen because things move at a pace that is like insane. But like definitely one of the things I want to do is like, and by the way, there's a recommended soundtrack. I would love to do that.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Well, I hope you do. And when you do, we will post the shit out of that and we will listen to it. And we will then continue the trend of comic book soundtracks, bringing it back. Right, guys? We want our creators to share their Spotify. So we can see what they're listening to. So we can listen to it too. Yeah.
Luca, in the beginning, Drew mentioned that you play video games. What do you play?
Yep. I very recently, like fairly recently, 4 or 5 years ago, I discovered the incredible world that are Japanese RPGs. Because basically my whole life as a gamer, I played mostly Western games. Like me and Fred, one of the things that we immediately bonded about was there's this game that came out, maybe it's been 10 years already, something like that, Dishonored. And it's like, I love that game. And I discovered that Fred also loved it. And I always play this kind of like, I grew up playing this kind of like Western RPGs like Vampire, Bloodlines, and Fallout, and all the various Dragon Age. And then some years ago, I started dabbing into Japanese RPG, and I fucking love them because they're insane. Like, something I really respect about Japanese media, that they're like balls to the wall, and it's like they are not afraid of not making sense. They're not afraid of just being out there. And there's a lot of stuff I really like. I don't know, like I would suggest do not get me into talking about video game because then we're like I'm playing mostly Japanese JRPGs. I got on sale very recently Dragon Age 11. Sorry, Dragon Quest 11.
Yes.
And it's been amazing, but it's a huge time sink. So it's like I need to be very, 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 very disciplined. But yeah, stuff like that. Like I like I'm a huge, probably one of my favorite thing in just entertainment, including like comics or movies. One of my favorite things in my life is Final Fantasy. Since I was a kid that I got my first PlayStation 1, Final Fantasy games are just, I don't know, they're like my comfort food. I love them all. And it's just they have something that is like, they're not all perfect, but I know that I will like it when it comes out, because it's just I don't know, that there's something about it. It's really, I have a lot of memories of playing Final Fantasy, and it's like I guess it's my favorite comfort food, like playing a Final Fantasy game.
It hits all the feels.
Yeah, man was very passionate.
Steve Scott says, "Hi, Luca, listening from Belgium as I am working at the board. I believe we met in Cyprus." Hey, Steve.
Yeah, that's Steve Scott. Yeah, I remember him. Yeah.
There you go. Remembers you. This is how it begins.
Absolutely. He's a fantastic artist. He also gave me one of my earliest portfolio reviews ever. And he's been super kind to me since day one. He's fantastic. I remember like we talk hours about, he did this thing, I don't know if he still does it, that he did his layouts on one side of the paper, and then he just flips the paper and draw the inks or the pencils, like they're basically mirrored. And he's huge artist. He's fantastic.
and a Fallout 4 fan, apparently.
Yeah. Oh, settlement building.
Yeah, Fallout is one of those games that I forced myself to abandon because I was like, otherwise, there goes my life.
Yeah.
Like Skyrim, this kind of stuff. Like, it's like
Oh my
Skyrim is
God,
great, but
Skyrim.
it's just Skyrim is
Skyrim
great,
took
but it's
years.
just I had to force myself to stop.
Yeah. There's actually a new game that's similar, and it's extremely massive. It's Crimson Desert.
Yeah,
yeah.
the thing is, I have a PS5.
Yep.
I haven't turned my PS5 on since the day my baby was born because it's just
Oh, I'm sorry.
she's
And then we made a
a
choice.
year and a half now.
Yeah.
And it's like I would love to, but it's to
3
me
more
right
years.
now the absolute idea of privilege is like, imagine having 1 hour in the day in which I'm like, I'm gonna sit down on my sofa and turn on my console and play video game. Like, it just didn't happen. So basically what I did is, because I like video games, I knew that I still wanted to play. So basically I got myself a Nintendo Switch, and now I play in bed before falling asleep, which is perfect.
You have to start the little ones when they're young, and you show them, and then especially if you're playing MMOs and stuff that require gathering, you give them prizes if they go out and do all of the gathering and stuff for you, so that you can play the actual game part.
I'm
You're like,
gonna raise a
"Hey,
little grinder, yes.
yes, exactly.
Which sounded really bad, but anyway.
Yeah,
Hey,
it's
you
fine.
know what you mean. All of us gamers are like, yes.
All right. So everybody, since we're coming up on time in a bit, did anybody else have any other questions that you wanted to ask Luca before we wrap it?
What would you say is the most difficult part of doing a creator-owned book?
Well, the thing is that basically it's a challenge, because when you're hired to work for hire, you know that I'm getting a script and I'm drawing my part, and then literally once I finish the page, I scan it, I hit send, and you basically wash your hands off it, and it's like, okay, next job. Because whatever happens to my page from now on, it's not my deal anymore. Like, there's a colorist, and usually I have to say I've been paired with really good people that I know that I don't have to worry. But now with a creator-owned book, the book is your baby. So I find that, to me, it sounds silly, but the biggest difference is that basically you never stop caring about your pages. Like, I draw a page, and then I finish it, and I scan it, and I send it over, and I want to see how it is when it's colored. I want to see how it is when it's lettered, and I want to see, I don't know, like if maybe we can change this and this. Our huge shout out to our colorist Adam Guzowski on this book. He's fantastic. I didn't know him. He was introduced to me by Fred because we were looking for a colorist, and he told me, I'm working with this dude that I think you're gonna like. And he introduced us, and he was nice enough that he accepted to do a couple of pages just to test if he would be a good fit on the book. And needless to say, he knocked it out of the park. Like, they looked amazing. Like, he's by far the colorist I'm happiest in my career ever. And I'm always like our working relationship at the start. I was very nervous because I didn't wanna sound too like a fucking tyrant. Because usually, like I said, if I get hired by Marvel to do a book, I do my inks, I scan, and I send, and you guys do whatever you want. And now I really care about how it's gonna look when it's colored. So basically, I very early on, I told to him, and I said, like, would you mind if I send you, because the thing is, I am the worst kind of artist because I don't know how to color. I mean, I know how coloring is done. I've never done it, and I don't want to do it. But at the same time, I have very specific ideas and theories of how I want the page to be done. I just don't know how to do it myself. So I'm like the worst possible collaborator ever on this point of view. And I was like, man, do you mind if I send you a mood board just to give you a sort of feelings for the how I see these pages colored? And he was like, yeah, actually these things would help a lot. And I sent him a mood board that was like everything from Scooby-Doo movies, Scooby-Doo stills, to Hammer horror movies, to Lupin the Third stills. Like, I knew that because this is a horror dark book, I didn't want to fall into the trap of like everything looks very dark all the time. Also because, we needed to be aware of the fact that it's always night in our book because it's a 1,000-year eclipse. So I wanted to avoid the book looking dark, and to overcompensate, I said, okay, you know what? Let's do the Hammer movie stuff where everything is very fluorescent, everything is very neon, everything is very pink and purple and green. And I love, probably it's in my DNA, I love Italian giallo movies from the 70s, and the photography in some of those is just insane. So like there was a lot of like steals from those movies in the mood board I sent, and I have to say he really understood the assignment because he's knocking it out of the park every goddamn page. I'm very happy.
Amazing. Okay, very nice. All right, well, Luca, we're coming up on time, so first things first, thank you so much for joining us, man. This has just been
Thank you, guys. It was very fun.
Yeah, we're glad to give you a break from pirates and video game, or looking at the console and thinking, one day, my sweet. One day, not today, someday. So one, as Leo would say, or Leo, do you want to? I don't want to take your privileges away.
Yeah. So, Luca, where do you like people interacting with you on the social medias?
My handle for pretty much most of the stuff I use is at Luca Piz. That's LUKAPIZ, and I use Instagram and Blue Sky. Like that's basically the two big ones I use.
Awesome. Well, on that note, everybody knows where to find us. You just head on over to the Splash Pages site and you can find everything else. Definitely more information for Luca is in the show notes up above or down below, depending on where you're watching or listening to us. And yes, Drew.
Sorry, I wanted to talk about our guest next week.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. So, hey, everybody. Thank you for joining us at Splash Pages. As Leo was just saying, make sure you hit the like and subscribe button to our YouTube page so you can follow us as we do totally awesome things. We're there every Tuesday. Sometimes we do Wednesdays, but usually Tuesdays. Check us out next week when we have the awesome, fantastic John Suntress is joining us. So we're going to talk to him about what to expect in his neck of the woods and what to expect for Terrific Con this year, as we are still getting closer and closer to being there. Yes, that.
You said totally awesome. Dude, like totally.
All right.
Catch you later.
Good night.
Bye, buddy.
Andiamo. Grazie.